Welcome to Threshold Stories, a podcast about people crossing thresholds, one story at a time. I'm your host, Jeff Cora. I'm an author, athlete, and coach, and adventure travel guide. This show explores topics like fitness, overcoming adversity, faith and science, travel, and my favorite, what it takes to be a Christian author in the 21st century.
One of the things that I'd like to know is that, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners would love to know, is what is the emotional reaction after somebody has gone on a threshold expedition, whether it's in Spain or the Pyrenees or the Nepal or Western Alaska? What is that transformational attitude within them?
So I'm somewhat in the middle of your journey, your encounter with me. So most people who cycle the routes of La Vuelta, who ride the Blue Ridge Parkway, have heard of other people doing it before they met me in general. And they generally are aware that it's something that they've wanted to do, and it's about time for them to get around to it, and they do it. In fact, one of the items I give everybody is these little round to it's, because people always tell me I'm going to get around to it one day. And I say, okay, here's your round to it. Now what? You know, that's the attitude I have. So you already know about what all these are. You might have seen YouTube videos. You might have had a friend do it, a family member do it, and it's kind of your turn now to do it. So you've got an expectation you're looking to meet, but there's always this component of you that's asking, can I do this? There's this moment where insecurity and lack of confidence cross over in the form of a question, and you really don't know how to process it. So I would say that everybody starts with this question, can I do this? The goal is at the end for you to say, I didn't know if I could do it or not, but now I did it and I feel better and I've overcome mediocrity. Because it's pretty mediocre thinking to hear of a tale that somebody else did. You ask yourself the question, can I do this? And then out of a lack of fear, maybe you blame it on the cost, you blame it on your profession, you blame it on your family, whatever. For whatever reason, you come up with a justification to not test your own mettle. Come up with a reason to say maybe one day, even though today's a day, you just keep pushing it off into the future. The emotional value comes from the recognition that you can do it. As I was telling you earlier, Phil, when we were offline, confidence isn't a knob. I mean, it isn't a switch where you either have it or you don't, like some people perceive. Confidence is more like a dimmer knob. And some people don't have the knob turned up very high. And other people have it very high. But my point is that knob has the ability to be rotated and changed. I've seen some people humbled, tremendous athletes humbled by trekking in Nepal because they thought they could do it all. And they went too fast uphill. They got to 15,000 feet and they couldn't breathe and they had to descend. It was just simple. And then I've had other absolute mediocre, curmudgeon types, slow, steady Eddie, overwhelm themselves with gratitude that's how they're made because they did something they never thought they could do. They conquered something that was crazy and they get, evidence of it in their future storytelling to people. You're a better person in that, I think, when you can overcome something that you didn't know if you can overcome or not. It's that moment of, can I do it? And you do it. For me, this all started when I was a Boy Scout and I had to take the swimming test. And the first time I took it, I failed. And I was told I had a week to pass. And they said, you've got to do all these different things. You got to be able to freestyle. You have to be able to backstroke. You got to float on your back for a minute in water over your head. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. I didn't have a clue. And now I'm coaching triathlon where people are swimming, potentially up to 2.4 miles if they're training for an Ironman. If it was not for that moment in scouting, when I was an early teenager, there's no way I would have ever done a triathlon because I was overwhelmed by the water. Getting that and then progressing and getting the swimming merit badge, the life-saving merit badge, all those were incremental steps as I turned my confidence knob up, up, and up, and up. I meet people all the time who cycle their home cycling routes ad nauseum. They've got 100 rides a year within 100 miles of their house. But they know in their bottom of their heart, they really haven't tested themselves yet against the Dolomites of Italy or the Alps or the Pyrenees. And they get a little bit overwhelmed thinking, I can do things at home, but can I do them in another country? That's the magic sauce. intangible ROI that you get. You're just a better person when you're done.
So, Jeff, one last question. Why should somebody book an expedition with Threshold Academy?
So my mantra is I'm trying to help people overcome being mediocre. And there's a component of each person when they look in the mirror that has a positive view of their identity, and then there's a negative view of their identity. And for a lot of people, that negative view comes from having a mountain that they haven't climbed, and it's been right there in front of them. I'm going to make sure you climb that mountain. I'm going to make sure you ride that Vuelta segment that you saw your favorite cyclist ride 2 years ago, 5 years ago, when they were on TV doing it. You're not going to go as fast as them, but you're going to have done it.
For more information on any of the Threshold Academy expeditions, go to thresholdacademy.com. Again, that address is thresholdacademy.com. Also, please like and share this show with your friends and fellow travelers. For Threshold Stories, I'm Phil Earhart. Thanks for listening.